recording. I'm going to pin me. Sorry, I'm talking to myself, but it's the only way I remember to do everything on here. So guys, I'm going to mute everybody, but if you want to mute yourselves at the end and we'll have a little catch up, it's always lovely to speak to you and have your feedback. So I'm just muting you all at the moment. And we've got a minute to go, but we'll get ourselves set up. So we will start standing up. You need a small ball if you've got one. If you haven't got one, if you've got a rolled up towel or a cushion, you should be okay with that. The balls are, those that have used them with classes with me before know how good fun they are. Well, I've got different size ones today. Okay, right, there's a couple more people just coming in. Apologies to those that are on live, just bear with us. Okay, and I think that's the last person in. We will be good to go. So we'll start our warm up. If I run towards the screen, somebody's come in last minute. I don't like anybody to be disappointed, so I will try and let them in. Okay, everybody, let's start without weights, without balls, without anything. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths. If you've had one of those weeks, you're ready. You're ready for this. Take those feet hip distance apart. So this is the stance we always have in Pilates. I want knees and hips in line with feet. Second and third toe always facing forwards, apart from when it's my ballet class, and then we do turn out. Okay, relax through the hips, relax through the shoulders, and we're going to take a couple of nice deep breaths in, where we're going to squat down, breathe in, reach towards the ceiling, take your gaze up towards your hands, and then exhale. Start this nice relaxation class. Breath in, reaching up, really stretch up as far as you can. It always feels fantastic when you do this. And exhale, spread those fingers really wide. Okay, let's go for two more. Breath in and reaching up. Pretend we're looking at the sun. And nice and wide. And the last one, breath in, reaching up. And exhale. God, that feels better already. Fantastic. Okay, right. I'm going to start with dumb waiter, warming up through the shoulders and the whole of the shoulder girdle. So elbows in toward your waist. Keep the elbows there. Palms towards the ceiling, hands in front. Drop those shoulder blades down. So if you do this and it's up here, it just won't work. So drop those shoulders down. And you're just going to open out and close. Okay, now, what's happening with your body? Just concentrate on those shoulder blades at the back. So there's a rotation going on as you're opening out through the chest. So we're working into that shoulder girdle, the whole mobility. Open, the chest. Many of us have been sitting at a desk all week. Oh, this is a really good one. Relax through the knees, relax through the hips. Okay, now start to raise those arms up, elbows back in and forwards. So we're increasing the range of movement within the shoulders. Really good. If you have got any shoulder injuries, this is a good one. But if you're getting pain as you're raising the arms up, just reduce the range of movement. My husband's got terrible problems with his neck, and this one really helps because very often it is how tight he is at the back, in between your shoulder blades, and it's causing problems. Okay, let's go for two more of these. Really open out, raise up. And the last one, open out through the chest, raise up and down. Okay, what I want you to do is cactus arms, or number 4. And what we're going to do is alternate arms. So you're rotating through the shoulder. So I'm not just flopping forward with my hand, it's a whole movement within that shoulder. Nice and long through the neck. Try and relax through the neck, try not to feel too tense. Like we're directing traffic. But here's a really good stretch through the front of those arms. Great mobility through the shoulders. Okay, now 2 arms back to cactus. Now do the 2 arms together. Try and relax through that neck. And you will all be very different in how far you can rotate here. Try to keep that spine nice and neutral so you're not moving the rest of your body. You are concentrating on that shoulder region. 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, just going to work into that neck now. We've warmed these shoulders up. So if you can, drop your chin to your chest. Let the weight of your head come forward. Feel that stretch to the back of your neck. Now, roll the head to one side. So you're taking the ear towards the shoulder. Take your gaze forward, and then slowly the other direction. So don't force anything. Keep the rest of your body still. Let's just go from side to side. You can do full circles here if you like. If you have any neck issues, stick to these semicircles. My neck makes a terrible noise when we do this one. Okay, one more each side. Should really be warming up. I'm feeling it into the top half of your spine as well. Top up between your shoulder blades. Okay, last one. Okay, towards the center. And then slowly raise that head up. Okay, so we're just going to go into some Pilates squats. I'm going to warm up the hips, the knees and the ankles, and we're going to take them into heel raises as well. So just a reminder, hip distance apart, standing nice and tall to start. Take that Pilates breath in. So just a reminder, relax with the abdominal muscles. Feel that tummy expand, and as you exhale, draw up through the pelvic floor, so you're stabilizing through the hips and through the spine and into that squat. Head and chest forward. We'll just do 5 normal ones just to warm up. Take the weight into your heels. You should be able to lift your toes up just to check. So imagine you're going to sit onto a chair and you don't quite get down. See how low you can get. And then last one. Okay, now what I want you to do is to come into releves, arms up and down, and then into a squat. So just check that those hips are level, knees are level, and as you're pushing through the heels to come up to stand, you're doing it equally. You're not favouring one side. You all have one side that's weak and the other. Really concentrate on pushing through, and as you raise up, both toes. So brilliant warm up, working into the shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. Generally just raising the heart rate a little bit. And releves up. Let's go for 2 more. If you feel that your knees are coming together into your squat, just put your Pilates ball between your knees. Sometimes that's a sign of weak glutes, or they're not quite firing up properly. And the last raise up, and release. Okay, right, let's challenge our core a little bit and balance. Hands on your hips if you want to. What we're going to do is stand onto one leg. We're going to draw circles with the other leg. Now try and keep these hips level, so it's not a lean over, a little bit, raising up and drawing circles. Nice and tall, nice and long through the neck. Now if you struggle with it, just make it a really small movement here. You feel you're working into your abs, challenging that core, working into the hip, and change direction. Sometimes that throws people, throws me some days. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, change legs. Make sure that foot's firmly planted. You've softened through the supporting knee. Grow nice and tall, hips are level. When I say nice and tall, get your spine as long as you can. 2 more. Okay, now change direction. Feel it into this supporting leg, challenging that core. 3, 2, and 1. And release. So just waking everything up. Okay, feet back to hip distance apart. Relax those arms and chest. And we're just going to go for some traverse swings. So what we're going to do is you're leading with your chest and you're just going to rotate from one side to the other. Now, if you've got knee issues, raise one heel off the mat. But make sure it's not this. It literally is your chest that's leading. So you're rotating through the top half of your chest. You're mobilizing through your spine as well. Always nice and long through the spine. Every time you're doing some rotation, if you crunch down here, you know, it's not good for you at all. So nice and tall. I like this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to come in with the weights and the ball. So I said, just a reminder to everybody to take small weights. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm going to do a harder workout, I'm going for heavy weights. But all we're looking for is a little bit of resistance. But as always, we're talking about alignment. And if your weights are too heavy and we start doing balance, you know, it's going to throw you out. So small hand weights. If you've got the ball, put it between your knees. So a bit like we did in the warm-up, we're coming into releves. So what we're going to do is hands to the side. As you raise up onto your toes, take your hands forward. Elbows back, squeezing the shoulder blades at the back, forwards and down. Okay, let's go again. Raising up, squeeze in, forwards and down. We'll take some concentration, isn't it, this one? Okay. Okay, right, don't raise your ankles too high. If you're too wobbly, you can just stay here without relevating. Just standing nice and tall, squeezing. Now make sure your elbows aren't up here, they literally are at shoulder height and down. So if you can take it and you've got this balance, you're obviously challenging your core. If it's too much for the ball, you can take the ball away. What it tends to do though is keep your knees in line with your hips. And keep those ankles in line as well. Squeeze, nice and long through the neck. I could do somebody with me to count, I always run out. If in doubt, let's keep going. Squeeze at the back and down. Okay, let's go 3 more. 1. Oops. And the last one. And release. Keep that ball between your knees, keep the weights into your hands. I'm just going to go side down just to show you what I'm looking for. So we're going to come into a squat, keep that chest up, elbows into your waist. Now we're going to take the arms back. So just start warming up here, really squeezing the arms at the back, so good for those bingo wings. You've got a neutral spine, so you're not arching out through your back or curling up. Now there's an add-on to this. So as you take them back, you can take your heels off the floor. Nice and long through the neck. Again, challenging that core a little bit more. This is why I want light weights, not heavy weights. There's a lot going on when we're doing these exercises. If you're struggling with anything, drop the heels down, or if the weights are too much, drop the weights. Adapt to suit you. So what I want is a challenge, but no pain. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Okay, just drop that ball to the side for a moment. We will be using it again. Nice and wide with the legs. Turn those feet out at 10 to 2. And what I want you to do, you're going to come into wide squat. So really push those legs wide. Make sure those knees are tracking over the feet. If they're coming forward, you're putting so much strain on those knees. Neutral spine, so just a reminder, tip backwards and forwards. Find that halfway point. Really grow from those hips nice and tall. So what we're going to do, arms into cactus. And as we squat down, we're raising the arms up. And then back to cactus. So see how low you can get in these wide squats. Really squeeze those thighs together to come up to standing, pushing through those heels, nice and long through the neck. If you need to at any point drop the arms, you're more than welcome. Take a rest, set yourselves up, start again. So, make sure those knees aren't going over those toes. You might need to take your feet slightly wider. Brilliant for the inner thigh, working into the glutes. We're working into the shoulder girdle as well. As you may have noticed. 3, 2, and on the last one, stay down. And 1. Okay, take those arms forwards and to the chest. Hold it there. Pulse for 10, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to standing. Okay. Slowly lower it down again. Hold it. and we come in opposite. So a bit like punches. Slowly in control though. Not a fast movement. You can get any lower in your squat, go down and get lower. Really working those inner thighs into these shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly come up to standing. Okay, walk those feet in. Give those legs a bit of a shake. Keeping the weights into the hands, we're coming into curtsies. So what we're going to do without the arms to start with, you've done this before with me, hips facing forward, step across the back and bend those knees. The weights in between the two legs. Okay, so you can either stay with those, just curtsies, or you can bring your arms in. So as you curtsy down, the arms come to the side and then forwards. So make sure you've got that core switched on. So just as a reminder, if it doesn't switch on automatically, draw up through the pelvic floor. As you're twisting and rotating, really important that that spine is being supported. Keep that chest up. If it's too much, you've got shoulder injuries, don't take the arms so wide. You can either keep them here or just raise them. Just reduce the range of movement. But if you're fit, keep going. She says out of breath if you're fit. So feel this into your hips. So if you get down a little bit further in those curtsies. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Standing hip distance apart. Feet hip distance apart. Okay, bring your weights to your chest and stand on one leg. Now, if you struggle with standing on one leg, just keep a toe on the floor. That's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do, if you can stand on one leg, as we bring the leg down, take an arm up, knee raises, and then the opposite arm. So you're going for 10 on each side, keeping those hips nice and level. We're really challenging that core with a change in the arms and the balance. Really slowly. Reach up with that arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Change legs. So as you can feel, you're working into the quads, you're working into the abs, the core obviously switching on, so when you're ready, slightly bend that supporting leg, knee up to 90 degrees if you can. If you're not, keep that toe on the floor. And as we're lowering, one arm up, one arm down. And just alternate. Oops. So working again into those shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, well done everybody. Okay, weights to the side where you can grab them and your ball, because we are going to use them when we're on the mat. Coming to the top of your mat, we're going to roll down so we can mobilise through that spine, hips and hamstrings. So feet hip distance apart. As always, second and third toe facing forward, soften through those knees, shoulders up, back and down, standing nice and tall. We've got this neutral spine as well. Take a breath in, relaxing through the abdominal muscles. And as you breathe out, feel the tummy retract, draw up through the pelvic floor and chin to chest. And start your roll down, relax through the arms. So you're tipping forward, taking one vertebra at a time off the spine and all the way down to the mat. Make sure the weight of the hips is behind the heels. Relax through the neck and arms, aiming to get your chest onto your thighs. Now, hold it here. Now raise the tailbone up, not straightening the legs. You'll feel the difference. Raise the tailbone so you're tipping it towards the ceiling. Get an extra stretch. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, Reconnect with that core and start to stack the spine to come up to standing. So one vertebra at a time, hips and knees level with those feet. Head is the last thing to come up. So you take your shoulders up, back and down, and your gaze comes forward. Let's go again. Breath in, breathe out, chin to chest, and off we go again. When you're separating those vertebrae, getting rid of any compression, brilliant mobility to do every single day. Into this forward fold, stretching through the hamstrings, mobilizing through the hips. Once again, raise that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Feel that real stretch through the hamstrings. Breath in, breathe out, and restack the spine. And you concentrate on stacking one vertebra at a time. Head's the last thing to come up. I always feel a bit taller on the second one. I'm nearly 5'3.5" when I do that. Okay, let's go again. This time we're going to stay down. Breath in, breathe out, chin to chest, and off we go. Keeping those hips level. Sometimes you can be a bit lopsided when you're doing these. All the way down to that floor. Extra stretch again, raising that tailbone up, letting that head just flop forwards. And then we're going to walk out to plank. So walking out, small movements with the hands, keeping the hips as still as you can, all the way out to plank. So just to remind you, shoulders come over your wrists, drop your hips down, feet are still hip distance apart, nice and long through the neck, dropping those hips down, hold it here. Right, so we're just going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly lower your knees, don't collapse onto the mat, and come onto all fours. So a little bit more mobilization through the spine, always good. So knees hip distance apart, hands shoulder width apart. As a reminder, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and we're going into sad cat, happy cat. So as you breathe in, curl the spine towards the ceiling, drop the head down. Think about curling from the bottom of the spine, not just to the top. As you exhale, so pushing through these hands, raise that head forward and upwards and take the chest towards the mat. And let's go again, so curling up. As you breathe in, and as you exhale, drop the chest. Make sure you've still got that weight evenly distributed between the 4 points and you haven't taken your weight back. Let's go again. Going up. And exhale. Okay, if you've got your ball, put your ball under one foot. Just challenges the balance a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing. But as we breathe in and curl up, bringing the knee towards the nose. We've done this one before. And pushing away, keeping those hips level and raising the head. So we're going to go for 10 on each leg. Really bring that knee towards the nose and extend away. So still mobilizing through the spine. We might mobilizing through the hip as well. If you haven't got a ball, just take it in and extend it along the mat. Try not to lean to one side. The aim is to keep that weight evenly distributed. Easy said and done. 4, 3, 2, really reach away with that foot, and the last one, knee in, and extend away. Okay, change legs. So drop the foot onto the ball, onto all fours. So sad cat, happy cat with a foot and leg extension. So bringing the knee towards your chest, keeping that weight evenly distributed between the two hands. Extend away, raise the head as you extend behind. Curling up as far as you can when the knee comes in, and away. Keep going with this. Check your posture at all points. Check where your weight is. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, right, we've warmed up that core as well, so ready to go on to the next one. So it's donkey kicks with a slight difference. So You'll need a weight and you'll need your ball. So come onto all fours, put the ball behind your knee. So you've got to squeeze that knee, there's a bit of tension into that leg. You're on all fours. Opposite hand, take the weight. Now, so just to warm up, just start with some donkey kicks, keeping those hips level, facing forward, nice and long through the neck, pushing those hands. Okay. So you can either stay here, make sure you've got a neutral spine. If you're arching out your back too much, just drop, don't raise it quite so high. Now, opposite hand to leg, otherwise you will fall on your face. We're going to extend it away and bring it back. Okay. Keep that foot that's on the floor flat so you're not gripping with it. Push through this supporting hand, keeping the shoulders and the hips level. So we're still looking at good alignment throughout. Don't forget to breathe. 5, 4. If your shoulders aching or legs, just drop them down. 3, 2, and 1. And release. This is why we don't have heavy weights. And change size. So ball behind your knee. Get that positioning right. Remember, shoulders over wrists. Opposite hand to knee that's going to raise. So do a couple of warm-up ones to start with. Squeeze, fit it into that glute. Squeeze in that ball. And when you're ready, opposite hand to leg. Nice and long through the neck. If you can, reach away with that weight. Squeeze in that ball. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Okay, ball back to the swap sides again. I'll just face forward just to show you this one. We're actually going to take the knee out to the side. We have done this exercise without weights previously. So you're on all fours, opposite hand to knee once again. Just as a reminder, what we're going to do is take the knee out to the side, but try and keep everything else level. I know it's not easy. And when you're ready, you can take arms out to the side. So not a straight arm, it's softening through the arm. If you've got any shoulder issues, literally do a very small movement with the arm or keep the weight down. So we're going for 10 on each side, nice and long through the neck. So not looking back towards the knees or looking up and forwards. Push through the supporting arm and away we go. So you'll feel the abs kicking in, you'll feel the core kicking in. Try not to grip with that foot that's on the floor. Nice, slowly and controlled. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release, change sides. Get your positioning correct before you start. A couple of warm-up ones, so leg out to the side, keeping that weight evenly distributed so we're not leaning over to one side. And when you're ready, bring your arm and weight into it. Don't sink through the shoulder, still push through this hand. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Okay, come off those arms. Sit onto your bottom, onto your sitting bones. Ball behind your back. You will need both weights. Just take them to the side of you for a moment. We'll have a little stretch while we're here. Okay, onto those sitting bones, sitting nice and tall. Now, if you're really short in your hamstrings, either bring your knees up or you can put a cushion underneath your bottom. What I'm looking for is so you're not sitting like this, nice and tall, open out through that chest. Float those arms forward. So this is a staff stretch. I want you to imagine there's a big beach ball here. So you're not leaning down, you've got to reach up and over the beach ball. So it's a hinge from the hips as well as a stretch through the hamstrings. Nice and long through the neck. So reaching forwards and slowly coming back. Don't force anything. Again, challenge yourself, but no injuries. I'm not looking for any injuries. Relax through those feet And some people get cramp when we're doing things like this. 2 more. And the last one, reaching up and over, nice and long, fantastic. Okay, feet onto the mat, feet hip distance apart or behind you. This one tends to have a life of its own actually. Okay, weights into your hands, and to start with, just sitting nice and tall, we're just coming into our C-curl. So just a reminder, onto the sitting bones, C-curl through the spine, roll back, keeping the hips level, chin away from the chest. Just weights in the hands to start with, and then back up. So breath in, and as you breathe out, connect with that core, roll back, hold it, and then back up to sitting, always back to those sitting bones. Let's go again. So just warming up these abs a little bit more. Okay, right, so roll back, hold it there, weights forwards, weights in, and then back up to sitting. Let's go again. Weights forward, in, and back up to sitting. Again. And then back up to sitting. Okay, so weight back, hold it, weights forwards, raise the arms up as far as you can without wobbling off the wall. Slowly lower and back up to sitting. Okay, keep the hands there. Now roll back, hold it, chin away from the chest, raise the arms up as far as you can without flaring through the chest or compromising the spine, and forwards. Keep going with this one. So you're working through the abs, working through the shoulders, developing the core, up to sitting. Any shoulder issues, keep the weights into your chest, otherwise raising them up. Okay, go for 2 more. Last one, rolling back, hold it first, hips always level, shoulders level. And back up to sitting, fantastic. Okay, bring that ball back in. We're going to go into some Russian twists now. Now, I'll give you various levels to do that. So the start off is feet on to the mat, come back, just C-curl slightly, and then you're going to take the weights from side to side. Now, if you've got any issues in the spine, lower back that you struggle with, drop the weights or have one weight, if you can, here. Now, obviously, bring your feet in, just your toes, or up here, or alternate with your feet. Just find out what's a challenge for you. Everybody's going to be a bit different with this. If at any time you're feeling strain into your back, just release, come forward and set yourself up again. So you're going for 20 of these. And as I say, just find your challenge. So I've got lower back problems, so it's not the best exercise for me. So I keep it nice and low. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Come back up to sitting. Ooh. Feet together, drop the knees to the side, put the weights just to the side, and just take your weight forward. So hold on to your feet, let your head drop, and just get a nice release, and just take a breath for a moment. Fantastic. As always, I'm about to run out of time, so let's speed up. We've got some lovely things for you to do. Okay, legs extended onto the sitting bones. We're going to roll down all the way to the mat. Arms floating forward, gap between the chin and the chest. As you C-curl off your sitting bones, nice and controlled all the way down. Put some tension into your legs so they're not raising up, and into a full body stretch. So arms above your head, and reach away with your hands, reach away with your feet, and just get a really lovely stretch. Okay. Bring your arms round and up above your chest. Take your feet towards your bottom, feet hip distance apart. So nice bit of mobility here. You're going to drop 2 knees to one side and the 2 arms are coming in the opposite direction, and your gaze is going towards your fingers. Now push these knees down towards the floor. Use your core to bring your knees up and over so don't pull on your back. And over. So if you're a beginner and you're not sure about your core, if you take a breath in, and as you breathe out, draw up to your pelvic floor, that will engage your core. So keep going with this one nice flowing movement from side to side. Keep your hands at chest height. Really reach away with those hands, pushing those knees towards the floor. Really great mobility. If you do have lower back problems, this is a good one to do in the morning just to release out. And also bring your knees to your chest into a nice tight ball. So again, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, knees back towards the ceiling. Now you can feed your ball and your weights. So put the weights either side of you. Grab your ball, feet onto the mat, raise those hips up and the ball comes underneath your bottom. Now, just as a reminder, it's the top of your bottom where your dimples are, or could be. Okay, make sure those hips are level, make sure the shoulders are level on the mat. Now bringing the knees up to tabletop. Now, just a reminder, if you bring your knees towards your chest, it's easier. So if at any time you feel it into your back, just bring your knees in as a release. Make sure your hips are level onto the ball before we start. If you're a real beginner, you can keep one foot down. If you're a little bit more advanced or experienced, now take your arms above your chest. And what we're going to do, we're going to start with toe taps without the arms. So just tapping close to the bottom. It's a hinge from the hip, so it's not from the spine arching out. So you've got that neutral spine. Now start to tap a little bit further away, so that's more of a challenge. Okay, when you're ready, you can do opposite arm to leg away with the weights. Keeping that neutral spine. You've got that core switched on, but you're still breathing, so you're breathing by expanding out through the back and the sides of your rib cage. Oh, I've got a funny ball today, it's not the one I normally use. So we're working through those hip flexors, we're working through the abdominals, we're working through the shoulder, and that core is working hard to keep us on this ball. So if you're struggling, at any point reduce the range of movement, bring your knees into your chest, relax off and start again. Anything opposite arm to leg is brilliant for our brain. Good de-stressor that you have to concentrate on staying on your ball. And let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to tabletop and arms above your chest. So what we're going to do now is, all sorted. Okay, right, the feet and arms are going away. So you're going to take both feet towards the floor. Now, if you're a beginner, just take it, just a slight movement. And at the same time, the arms are coming up and over the head. And then bringing it back in. So again, challenging the abdominals, challenging the core, working through the shoulders, feeling into those, as she falls off the wall. Okay, let's go again. I've got a smaller ball today, I think that's the problem. And bringing them back in. Nice and long through the neck. Make sure those shoulders are level on the floor, hips are level on the ball. It's a hinge from the hips. I'm not arching out my back to get my feet towards the floor. If anybody's feeling pain in the back, stop, reduce the range of movement. Just hug your knees into your chest to release off and set yourselves up again. And we go 5. You can extend your legs right away if you want to. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, bring those knees in towards the chest, weights to the side, just hug the knees in while you're on the ball. And release. Hands to the side, extend the feet up towards the ceiling, so nice and long through the legs. Now what I want you to do is to flex and point. Now if you've got sciatica, you can bend the knees and do this. If you haven't, extend the legs and flex and point. A really lovely stretch when you're here. Okay, and release. Bend those knees. Take one foot towards the floor. Tuck the other knee in and then extend that leg away. So you're still balanced on the ball, using your shoulders to balance. If you're struggling with this, put your elbows onto the floor and just hug that knee in and straighten the other one. So you get a great stretch in this hip flexor. If you can, change legs. One knee in towards the chest. So if you can, hug it in. Obviously still challenging that shoulder stability. Opening out through that hip flexor. It should feel good. Okay, so 2 feet towards the floor. Now extend one leg away. Put the ball under your hips. Now make sure this isn't in the small of your back. What you're trying to do is open out through these hips. Now extend the other leg away. You get that lovely stretch through the front of the hips. Now very slowly, I've got my elbows onto the floor for stability. I've got my hands on my hips. And I'm just going to slowly move from side to side to get a really good stretch through those hips. So if you're a cyclist or a runner, this is a really good exercise for you. Nice and long through the neck. Again, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, feet towards the mat. Raise those hips up. Take that ball away. Okay, hands behind your thighs and rock yourself up to sitting. So I've got a new stretch for you just to finish off. Okay, it's called climbing the tree. All the classes this week have had to go, so one time for you. So raise one knee up, put your hands behind your thigh, onto your sitting bones. Now extend that leg away as far as you can. Now walk the hands up the leg so you're climbing the tree towards the ankle and bring the leg towards your chest. Everybody will be different. If you can't get to your ankle, don't worry. Just feel that stretch nice and long through the neck. Now we're going to roll back towards the mat. So you can either do it and keep your hands here or take your hands back down the tree, C curl, roll back and bring that leg towards your chest. Try and relax through this leg. It doesn't have to be locked out. Walk your hands towards your ankle. Hold it. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, relax and draw that knee towards your chest a little bit more. Okay, right. Walk your hands down a little bit, so the hands behind the thigh, head and chest comes off the mat, and back up to sitting nice and tall. And change legs. Okay, right. So hands behind the thigh, onto those sitting bones. Extend that leg if you can, and you might struggle at the moment, but it will get better. Walk the hands up. Bringing that, I've got both sitting bones still on the mat. Nice and long through the neck, hug it in. Now to roll back, you can keep your hands here or climb down the tree a little bit, rolling back. Leg is coming towards the chest, both butt cheeks are on the mat, hips are level, draw it in, hold it here, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, hug it in a little bit more, really feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Right, walk the hands down behind the thigh, head and chest comes off the mat, and back up to sitting. Fantastic, well done everybody. Okay, last one, onto your hands and knees. I've gone off piece, but I think this is probably where we need a little bit of same width, so hip distance apart, hands forward, into a nice child's pose. Now if you've got knee problems, keep your bottom in the air, really stretch out through those shoulders. Okay, now take one hand round towards your toes, and then back. Now if you've got real shoulder issues, or you're really stiff in this area, you might struggle, so bend the arm and do the same thing. Change sides. And back. Okay, one more each side, so really mobilizing through the shoulder girdle. Getting a good stretch through the spine. One more. And release. Okay, right, you're going to take your weight forward into your hands and drop your hips towards the floor. Now, if you've got lower back problems, don't go too far. If you can, drop the hips, raise the head and shoulders, push through supporting hands, and then back, taking your weight back towards your heels. So you're opening out through the chest, through the shoulders, you're hinging at the hips, And then forward again, nice and long, dropping it down to get a really good stretch. Let's go again. Okay, one more forward. Remember, raise that head forwards and upwards. Okay, now take your weight back. Now, this time, let's just thread the needle. So taking one arm underneath the armpit and rotating through the top half of the spine. So gazing underneath that armpit, bottom in the air, the sleeping baby. 2 hands forward and then change sides. Two hands back. Okay, come onto all fours. Curl those toes under. You're going to take it up to down dog, just working through those hamstrings again. Push your heels back towards the mat, open out through the chest. Now pedal out those feet. What always feels good. Try and keep those hips level and open out here through the shoulders as much as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, both heels towards the mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend those knees and stay in that forward fold. Really relaxed. Let the neck and the shoulders go. Just hold it there. Now, if you can, raise that tailbone up a little bit. Get that extra stretch with the hamstrings. And then release. Okay. Hands above your knees onto your thighs. Don't press onto your knees. Don't curl up through the spine. And standing. Here's the last thing to come up. Standing nice and tall. Okay, just to finish off, we're just going to come up and over. And up and over. Oh, that's a lovely stretch. Okay, this time up and over. Take it all the way down to the floor. Round in a giant circle. And then back the way you came. So reaching up and over, down towards that foot. Get that into your hips. And we're done. Well done, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Unmute yourselves if you want to chat. I'm just going to stop recording.